All right, we're going to use some CPI data in order to find inflation rates. So the inflation rate is basically the relative change from one year to the next if you want to find the annual inflation rate. And we know how to find relative change, that's not new. And remember that CPI is the consumer price index and we're dealing with inflation, so the increase in the cost of goods and services over time. So if we want to find the inflation rate for 2016, that makes this new, and then 2015 would be old. So when we're thinking about this and we want to find the relative change, we would take 2016's value minus 2015's value, and then divide by 2015. Okay, so when we do that, we end up with a decimal of 0.013, which is 1.3%. So that's the inflation rate for 2016. So if your company says we give cost of living increases, you would get a 1.3% increase. Okay. So now, number two, how much would you have expected to pay for goods in 2016 if those goods were worth $1,500 in 2015? Well, there's two ways to figure this out. And if they were $1,500 in 2015, we can multiply by our inflation rate, and this is going to give us the cost of increase. So the increase is $1,950. So then if they were $1,500, we add the increase to it. In 2016, they would be $1,519.50. The other way to do that would be to take the 1,500 and multiply by 1.013, where this 1 represents the 1,500 that's coming along, and then the 0.13 is the inflation rate. So if you multiply just that, you will also get 1,519.50. Either way works. Okay, so let's go ahead and find the inflation rates for the years listed. And we're going to round to 4 decimal places. I'm also going to change this to a percent. And you know what? I'm kind of going to make up my own rules because I don't want to do 4 decimal places. I'm going to go to the nearest tenth of a percent because I do what I want. Obviously, if you want to go decimals, you just take it out further. So I'm going to do 2012 with you, and then I'm going to have you do the other 3. So remember, for 2012, this becomes new, and 2011 would be old. So if we're using 2012 for new, minus 2011, and then we would divide by 2011. When you do that, you get a decimal answer of 0.021, which is 2.1%. So for 2012, I get 2.1%. Now, when you then go to 2013, that would be new, and then 2012 would be old, and you do the same thing, right? You do the same, new minus old, except for the next one, you're using this value. When you get to 2014, you're using these two, and when you get to 2015, you're using these two. So go ahead and hit pause, try those things, and then come back and check your answers. All right, so to the nearest tenth of a percent, you get that. If you wanted to have them as decimals, I guess I could have left them as decimals. I did not go to 4 places on my paper, so you'll have to forgive that. But you can take it out 1 more decimal place if you'd like. I rounded to 3 decimal places because that's what I did. So remember, you're taking new minus old divided by old as you've been working on this. All right, so now let's interpret the inflation rate for 2015 in a meaningful sentence. Remember, the inflation rate for 2015 is 0.1%. So what that means is that the prices of goods increased. I know it's an increase because this is a positive number. Increased 0.1% from 2014 to 2015. All right. And number 5, find the inflation rate from 16 to 17, and then interpret that in a meaningful sentence. So for 16-17, we're using these 2 values. So new minus old divided by old. Okay, and of course, you want to subtract first before you divide, and that gives us 0.021, which is 2.1%. So the interpretation, prices of goods and services increased 2.1% from 2016 to 2017. And that's inflation and good stuff.